Welcome. If you've ever felt guilty for needing a quiet weekend to recharge, or you wonder how some people can thrive in constant chaos when you need a clear plan just to get through the day, you're in the right place, friends. By the end of this video, you'll discover how our four-letter personality code is the key to understanding your energy, your decisions, and your relationships. We'll explore why you feel the way you do after a long week and how to use that knowledge to build a more fulfilling life without the nagging feeling of not being enough. I know I personally am guilty of trying to find my own code for years because I misunderstood what it was trying to show me about my own needs. So, if you're ready to stop apologizing for who you are and start using your natural strengths to your advantage, let's begin. If we haven't met before, I'm Adrienne, and with my co creator Mary, we have spent over 5 years building an online community where women come together to share tips on home organization, productivity, and life hacks. Here at Life a Go Go, you'll find warm conversations and practical solutions to help make life a little bit easier and a whole lot more enjoyable. After helping hundreds of women, we are excited to expand to YouTube to share our content with a wider audience. So grab a cup of whatever you like and settle in. Let's create our best lives together, one week at a time. As they say in YouTube, please help us in our journey by hitting the like, subscribe, and share buttons below. Okay, back to the topic at hand. So, you probably have noticed how some people depend on detailed planners while other people just make it through on a cocktail napkin or post-it note. You may feel like a hermit after a long week and you don't want to leave your couch, but somehow your friends have energy for karaoke. This isn't about being organized versus messy or social versus shy. It's about your innate personality preferences, which are explained by the 16 personality framework, better known under the license name of the Myers-Briggs. When you use this assessment, you get a four-letter code. Let's quickly break down what each of these letters mean. First, where do you get your energy? Extroversion, E versus introversion, I. Extroverts recharge by being with people, while introverts recharge through solitude. It's basically your internal battery charger. The next set of letters deals with how you process information. Sensing, S versus intuition, N. Sensors are realists who trust facts and details. Think step-by-step planners. Intuitives, on the other hand, are the big picture dreamers who love exploring possibilities and patterns. Then there's the question of how do you make decisions? This is represented by T, thinking, versus F, feeling. Thinkers use logic and objective truth. They're the classic pros and con list makers, whereas feelers use empathy and values the consideration of a decision's impact on other people. And finally, how do you approach life? The judging J versus the perceiving P. Judges love structure, plans, deadlines. They get the thrill from checking things off a list, whereas perceivers love flexibility, spontaneity, and keeping their options open. They thrive in being able to adapt on the go. If you want to discover your own personality type, we've linked one of our favorite free quizzes in the description box below. Now, here's the comforting truth. Your letters don't typically change over time, but psychologists have confirmed that the older we get, the less extreme our type looks in everyday life. Well, experience teaches us to round off our sharper corners and borrow the best from the other side. So, for example, that free spirited perceiver who once lived by the motto, well, we'll figure it out, probably has discovered the peace that simple morning routines can bring to their day. Likewise, that hyper-logical thinker who used to dismiss feelings as fluff now realize that emotional intelligence is a leadership superpower. They still love a good spreadsheet, will still make decisions with numbers, but they will probably also start the meeting by asking how everyone is really doing. In short, your letters don't disappear, but your range expands. You keep your natural edge, but you also gain the flexibility to use the opposite skill set when the moment calls for it. That's wisdom that you have earned through the decades of real life, and it's why you feel more balanced than the roller coasters in perhaps your early teens and 20s. There is, however, one dimension that doesn't change as much as we age, and that's actually the first dimension, that extrovert versus introvert. This one dimension causes so much guilt, especially as we get more established in our lives. And when we do this type of presentation in the past, it's often the sticking point when we talk about this topic as a group. For years, I even tried to game the assessment at work because I thought being an extrovert just sounded better on paper. It just sounds more ambitious. Am I right? A natural networker, someone who isn't afraid of the stage, someone who just gets out there and meets the people. And that's a total myth. This personality type is only about how you restore your energy. That's it. All those extra skills, those were things that those individuals gained on their own. So as you get further into life and you have less responsibilities like raising kids, or maybe your career is more established and you don't have to spend as much time in the evenings, you wind up having free time that is truly yours to do what you want. And how you use that is often reflected in this personality type. As an introvert like myself, you might find deep satisfaction in gardening, baking, crafting, just having a quiet night with a book, whereas extroverts like Mary recharge the opposite way. So Mary will actually have a schedule that, as an introvert, when I look at it, it's exhausting. It's filled with volunteer work, golf leagues, impromptu socials, and this is on top of her already busy work life. But she purposely has chose this community where she lives because it offers opportunities for her to connect with other people. It works for her. Even when she tells me that she's being a homebody, it likely means she's sitting on her porch connecting with people on her phone. The thing is, neither of these ways are better. Mary's way doesn't make her more successful or give her more friends, and an introvert's way doesn't make you a hermit or antisocial. The key is to notice what fills your cup and give yourself the permission to enjoy it without the guilt. Yes, friendships, connections, experiences, they should be part of anyone's life. And so for the introvert, they need to accommodate this by having a set time, knowing that they probably won't necessarily seek this on their own for a form of rest. But the extrovert likewise would need to say, do I want to use my rest time to get these experiences? And if so, how can I use that time to best serve these objectives? The real magic happens when you can spot these differences in personality types, not only in yourself, but in others, especially your loved ones. And you can actually kind of do this without having to make them take the quiz, although it is kind of fun to see the results. Think about the last time that maybe you planned a family vacation. If you had a sensor in your group, they were the ones who were asking for the detailed itinerary. They wanted departure times, and they were probably booking the tickets well into advance. The intuitive person in your group was probably saying, what if we just explored a new city? We don't have to have a full thought out plan. The thinker was on their phone comparing flight costs and rental car logistics, while the feeler is making sure that the activities would work good for everyone in the group and would also create great memories. The judger wanted the hotel and dinner reservations booked before you left, whereas the perceiver was like, let's go and figure it out when we get there. Well, why spoil all the fun by planning in advance? When you see these differences as personality traits and not personal attacks or just like bickering, it allows you to be able to accommodate the differences. So for example, in this case, you might let the judges book the main rocks of the trip. That would be the flights, the hotels, key activities that you want to do. And then to accommodate the perceivers, you would leave space in between to explore and have some spontaneity. It creates a win-win situation. When hosting, you may also run into the social times, especially with the introverts versus extroverts. So, a great way to get around this is to have activities that are optional or to have downtime. So, perhaps your optional activities are coffee time in the morning where people can just kind of grab and go as they want. They don't feel pressure to stay for the whole meal, or having games in the afternoon set up, but people can also just go off on their own if they would like for a walk or a nap or whatever recharges them. Again, it's not personal, it's personalities. So far, we talked about how your personality type is the key to understanding your energy, your decisions, and your relationships. We've seen how these traits evolve and how you can work with your nature, not against it. But I know what you were thinking. This is great and all, but what do I do with this information? What kind of planner should I actually buy? How should I set up my office? What's the one thing that will really help me stop procrastinating? While we've only been able to scratch the surface in this video, Mary and I have put all of this practical nitty gritty advice into a comprehensive guide just for you. We're calling it the Your Personality Driven Life. And inside, we've broken down everything by your specific 4-letter type. So, for example, inside you will find the planning do's and don'ts for your exact personality so you can stop finding systems that don't work. You will find specific planner recommendations that you can buy today. The single biggest productivity issue for your type, and most importantly, what we call the game changer, the one technique that will make the biggest difference for you. And just for fun, we have included our favorite office supply by type because who doesn't love a good pen? This guide is our gift to you to take what you're learning here today and put it into immediate action. You can download it for free using the first link in the description box below. Remember, your personality isn't a life sentence, it's a roadmap. And now you have the tools to read it. If this video has helped you understand yourself a little bit better, please give it a like. It truly helps our channel reach more people who need to hear this message. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to embrace your unique strengths and start building a life that truly fits you. Until we see you again, cheers, friends.